What's up, everybody? Gaming Society Football Show Week 16. I'm Dave Anderson. That is Mike Vick, the man, the myth, the legend. We are excited. It's been 16 weeks. This is normally a full season, Mike Vick. This is crazy. We got these guys got a couple more weeks left. This is new territory for everybody. Pundits, players.
It's long and drawn out this time of the year.
This is nuts to see. Like, the parity is real in the NFL this year with everybody beating everybody. And then we got, obviously some COVID issues going on with teams spreading out when they have to play. It's getting weird here towards the end, and I appreciate that. That means the winners are going to show up, and those guys who were, the pretenders in the league are definitely going to fall down. But I'll tell you, we got a chance here because our all-in records, Mike Vick correctly picked the Packers over the Bears. I picked the Rams. We're 5-5. So
yeah,
I think we got a chance.
Yeah, we got a shot. You just got to be really nice moving forward.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what we got. We save our all-in picks for the end of the show. So 5-5, we'll get to our all-in at the bottom of the show. But Mike, who impressed you Week 15? There's a lot of ups and downs. Some teams fought through some turmoil. I'm curious. Who'd you really like? Who really stood out this week?
Let me see. Who stood out to me this week? Dallas stood out to me. When I watched Dallas this week, I was watching them closely because I felt like this was a trap game.
Yep.
And, you had those games when, it just feels like something could potentially happen. Backup quarterback on the other side, Mike Glennon, whoever was, I just felt like something could potentially happen. NFC East game, rivalry game. So, it's a lot that plays a factor. And I just wanted to see how Dak was going to perform, and I thought those guys showed up. Still looking for some running game. Got two guys out in Zeke and Pollard trying to get back to 100%. But, they impressed me. It was good to see on both sides of the ball. Michael Parsons didn't have a sack this week, surprisingly, but, they showed up in all three phases.
I'll tell you what, the Cowboys, we always talk about how talented they are. If Jerry Jones can do anything, is draft. Like, the talent on that team, when they have young players that are always balling out. They have a couple guys that they drafted that are now vets that are balling. That team is poised to win, and they can. But the team that I think we got to talk about, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, so I've been a little down because the AFC South is especially the Texans and the Jaguars, really bringing that division down. Titans and the Colts have been fighting for that AFC South crown.
Yeah.
But the Colts showing up, beating the piss out of the Patriots. They didn't just beat them; they pounded those boys.
It's one of them games, man.
And left Belichick speechless at the end of the game. Had him apologizing to the media a couple of days later. That you don't see, and that is some headline material by the Indianapolis Colts for sure.
Humbling experience. It can happen to you any given, Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. That's my favorite slogan. It can happen to you.
It can happen to you.
It was good for the New England Patriots, though. I felt like this was something that needed to happen so they can see the flaws and the mistakes that they do have, because a lot hasn't shown up in the last couple of weeks. There's been nothing but positive. So you got to be able to take some negatives. And I always feel like you can take positives and negatives away from, wins and losses. So you can learn from, both sides of it.
And you know what? It's two types of coaches that are really completely different. Frank Reich, kind of more of a player's coach, but known to get opinions and kind of like cater to the players a little more. Yeah. And then you got the Bill Belichicks of the world. And this was something that you guys talked about with Gilbert that I was absolutely fascinated with. I sat on the couch and really listened.
At first I thought it was more so like having a coach that's like a player's coach, a coach that, we always want a player's coach, a guy who's relatable. Practice start at, 2. We starting at 2:15 and we getting out at 4. Like, that's because we communicated that with him and he understood, like, Coach, we need a little more time to get our bodies together. A player coach in a sense, who catered to the players. Then I started to realize over time, like, that's not it. Let the coach's rules and his philosophy be what it's supposed to be. Like, coach us, teach us let us follow your guidelines so we can, get the most out of ourselves. Because we always think we got it, we know it. We learn something on Monday, and then we got it on Friday, and we can execute it for the rest. No, you're gonna always have to learn how to execute a step further, or add more to what you're learning. So, I always looked at the players coach versus the stern coach, and when I want a coach that's gonna be on me every day, who's gonna coach me hard and gonna coach everybody hard, not afraid of the stars or afraid of the guy who, might be the Mr. Irrelevant in the locker room. Treat everybody the same.
But like those two different types of coaches, how do you think those coaches differ and what they're going to do differently towards the end of the season? We all know about how they prepare guys and they keep guys fresh in the beginning of the year. But towards the end of the season, what is the difference in these guys' coaching style like, and what do you think is going to happen from a player coach for a real coach?
Honestly, Dave, I really think there's no difference. You're looking at two guys who've had success in two different realms. Frank Reich, not as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So he know how to load manage the guys as you get closer to the postseason. And Bill, he's done it for so long. It's a reason why some teams stay fresh and look fresh at the end of the year and be more aggressive than others. And right now you can look at the Colts and the Patriots and see those guys just like nearing their apex. And it's good to see, because I feel like the Indianapolis Colts, to be able to represent the AFC, they can be a problem for a lot of teams, and including the Patriots if they happen to see them down the road. So, we'll see what happens, man. These coaches know what they're doing, and I really like both of them on the grand scale.
What do you think? The coaching jobs are already opening up, right? We already got the Jacksonville Jaguars firing Urban Meyer, which I think we all saw coming probably week 4 if you played.
Yeah.
We didn't need 10 more weeks to know that wasn't going to work out. What do you think? You were a first pick. You've had your share of coaches. You were a starting quarterback that welcomed in new coaches. What would you like to see for Trevor Lawrence from a coach coming in there to Jacksonville?
Yeah, I would like to see a guy like Brian Leftwich. I think Brian will do a great job with a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. He can start from point A and he can get him to point Z in 3 years max, I think. Starting with just the protections, breakdown of the pass game, what it takes to be a successful passer, how you move the ball down the field, how you get guys motivated and eager to play for you. And I think he'll be a player's coach. He understands the game. He won a Super Bowl last year. And what more experience do you need from a coach than a guy like Brian Leftwich? I think he's a total package.
How come he jumped over Eric Bieniemy? I'm curious. Like, Bieniemy was so hot for those 3 years and didn't get a lot of love. I thought he was going to get even some love for like this SC job and some other stuff. I'm curious why you go Leftwich over Bieniemy. Because
of the quarterback perspective. I wouldn't put Bieniemy with a guy like Trevor Lawrence because he's just a fresh quarterback. He started from ground zero. He came from Clemson where he had a lot of success. And now he's in Jacksonville where he needs help. He needs guidance. He needs tutelage. He needs somebody who can step in, who played the position, I feel. This is my personal opinion. But, taking into consideration that he's a young quarterback and he really has to start from point A. Everything he endured in college, it's not going to translate over to the NFL in a lot of situations and moments. So I think you need a guy like Brian who's had success, who can start from point A and get him to point Z just by hashing everything out in terms of, how to play the game, how to be a professional quarterback, and what it looks like on Sunday, Mondays, and Thursdays.
I think I always find it really interesting when guys like Trevor Lawrence come from a team where position by position they are better athletically than their opposition. And so it doesn't matter if it's their first read, second read, or third read. It's that player's a lot better than the guy that they're facing. Right. That is rarely the case. That is never the case in the NFL where it's across the board better than them athletically. Like, your first receiver might actually be in a bad situation, but your second receiver might be better. Your nickel guy might be better. Your running back, your fullback, you never know who's going to have the advantage, and you got to try to position those guys in yourself to put them in a position to be successful. That's what I really find interesting. I think Leftwich does that, has certainly probably learned a lot of that from Brady, because you see, last week the Bucks couldn't stay on the field. They couldn't find a spot where they were better than the opposition, but
they know mismatches.
Yeah, and that's what Trevor Lawrence needs to find, is the mismatches. Someone needs to teach him how to locate them, find them, and how they evolve. I think that's a case.
Identify is the word. Yes.
Exactly, and it's not. It wouldn't be the gaming society if we didn't talk about the odds here. So you're right. Byron Leftwich plus 400. Kellen Moore, obviously offense coordinator from the Cowboys, plus 500. Darren Bevel plus 550. Bieniemy 700. There's where I am. Joe Brady making a comeback plus 700. Then you fill it out with people basically over 1,000 with Josh McDaniels, Pete Carroll, Jim Caldwell, Kyle Shanahan, guys that probably need to get fired to take another job before they would take Jacksonville. But I don't know. Jacksonville has lost a little bit of its luster. I don't know if it's a fun team to go to, get back-to-back first picks. They're going to be paying Urban Meyer for the next. I don't know. Well, they're going to try to not pay him, but that's a crappy situation to fall into. But
and
we'll see.
I didn't even say this. Byron played in Jacksonville for years, so he's a known name out there. He's a figure in Jacksonville, and. So that's a good fit. I also say this before you move forward. You just mentioned some of the teams. Eric Bieniemy to Detroit. If they decide to move on from Dan Campbell, he can change that coach out there. He's a hard-nosed coach. A city like Detroit needs a coach like Eric Bieniemy.
I always laugh about Jacksonville. I think about the people showing up to the radio show. Byron Leftwich would have no problem filling up the bar at the local radio. You know when the coach does the weekly radio shows.
Yeah, it's gonna be epic. The perfect situation for Byron. Perfect situation.
Newsletters, easy for me to say. Newsletters, intriguing matchup of the week this week. In week 13, 3 weeks ago. What up, my man? We had New England defeating Buffalo.
Okay.
Right? 14-10. Now, New England's coming off a beatdown. Buffalo is still a little hot. They're fighting for a division title. New England is favored by 2.5 with a total of 43.5. This is the game to watch this week. Another game of the week to watch for the New England Patriots. They've been doing this to us. If you can wave your magic wand at which team is going to win there, Mike Vick, who's going to win this game?
I like the momentum that the Buffalo Bills was able to obtain last week. I think it was much needed, and a win against any team gives you confidence. I like New England, man. I like New England. I like them in the bounce back game. I like the defense. I think Mac Jones gonna learn from last weekend. That was a hailstorm. It was a storm that they ran into last week in India, and it could be a tough place to play. But I like the way they came out of it. I like the way they finished. So, with that being said, I like New England over Buffalo this week.
Okay, no, let's not forget. That game was pretty epic. 3 passes. They just said, New England just said, we're gonna stand right in front of you, and we're just gonna punch you in the mouth, and you're gonna swing, and we're gonna duck a couple of those off, unlike Frank Gore did, but we're gonna just punch you right in the mouth there. Can they do that again? Can they line up and do that again? Is Buffalo going to over-prepare for the run?
It'll be a totally different game plan. This game plan going into this week will probably have more passes than run. But in all actuality, I think it'll be balanced run and balanced pass. So while Buffalo's going to try to prepare for one type of offense or one type of scheme, they're going to get something totally different. If I was the Buffalo Bills, I'd come into this game looking for a very diverse passing game, a diverse run game, and just be on their P's and Q's because they're going to see everything in this game. It's not just going to be one-dimensional in terms of the run.
You know what I like about this matchup is Belichick basically turned this into a poker game. And what I mean by that is a lot of times there's a guy that sits at a table and he plays a certain way and it becomes obnoxious, right? He's always raising someone or he's always He's always folding. He's always folding.
Yeah.
He's always folding. And,
Can't
and
get a
all of a
read on
sudden,
him.
you can't get a beat on him. He's really consistent. All of a sudden, he comes in like you could. The Bills could prepare all week for all run, or
Right.
they could prepare all week for both.
Yeah,
And
that's
whatever we get, like they're impossible. Bill Belichick's playing mind games with everybody, us included, and
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep. When I watched it, the first game, I was like, now, do anybody really think this what the game plan going to be the next time these teams meet? Because they're in the same division, everybody. So it's not going to be. So he was just playing a little, cat and mouse game, chess game with him to just keep him thinking and keep him guessing.
Here's the real question. 43 and a half. It was 14-10. It's going to be a December game in Buffalo. Do you like points? Do you avoid points because you don't know what's going to happen here? Do you just take you like New England to win? Like these are the types of bets where where football really comes in. Like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. This is going to be a low scoring game. What do you think?
43. I got Buffalo being dynamic. I got Buffalo coming in and making it a real game. And I do think New England need to score more than 21 points, about 24 points to win this game. So, that being said, I'll take the over on this one. I'm taking
I
the
like
over.
that.
They're
I'm
gonna
with
score
you.
points this
I
week.
think Buffalo's just going to throw the ball. I think New England realizes that they're going to throw the ball. It'll be interesting to see what these two teams do here. I'm certainly a big fan of watching this game. There's not many games I pick of my pick of the week. It's how tough it is on a Sunday or a Saturday, whatever day they put these damn games on now. That you got five on. I'm not a big red zone guy. I can't watch 5 games at one time.
Oh, man, that's the best. I love it.
I like to watch a
I go
game.
like
I like
this.
to see the story. See, you're a quarterback. You just want to see the
Yeah, I
bang, the
see
bang, the
everything.
bang, get out. No, I got to see the
everything.
story evolve. I'm a sucker for a good
Okay,
story.
that makes sense. I understand.
I want to see how did they get to 3rd and 7 right here? How
Right,
did they
right.
get to 3rd and 11?
Right,
Why is it 1st and 15? What happened
Yeah.
to why is the kickoff team so shitty?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in.
I'm like, what down is it? How many down linemen they got in? What's the front? What's the defensive front? Oh, they play.
And then boom, you're moving to the next game.
Quarters. Like I just follow a pattern, just each game, and it's like, because that's how I watch film. Breaking down film was breaking it down. So whether you're seeing it from the back or the side copy, Dave, I had to see everything.
Oh yeah, I always think that's one thing. I think the Manning guys do it really well, interesting, and they kind of talk about how they
amazing.
watch the game.
Yes.
I think that is, and I think we mentioned this probably, I don't know, week 2 or something, about ball watchers versus watching a game with a football player. Like
Yeah.
the ball is the last piece of information,
Oh yeah.
right? You're looking at the front, you're looking
Yeah.
at the back end, and you could tell you could know where to put your eyes already. You're like, the ball's either
Yeah.
gonna go down here in the flat or over top.
Right. Like I can almost move with the quarterback's head. Like just in that one play, like, oh, he looking left. Oh, what's up? What's left? Oh, the flat wide open. Or they must have been in the cover too. Or it's like I don't know. Or whatever the breakdown is, I'm always processing it so it can be clear to me what exactly happened.
Well, then this is a good question, because I always thought about this. Does watching someone like New England, are they harder to literally watch on film?
They're funner. It's fun to watch New England because you get so many different looks and they move guys around so much. So they might be in a 4 down front, but it might only be 2 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. So they make you identify. And what makes the game even harder now is guys got these low numbers and these different numbers. So you really got to study more film. Linebackers said numbers was in the 50s, when I played. So it just makes you identify, makes you understand protections better. So actually playing a team like New England, if you play a standard 4-3 team who just move safeties and shift backers and to different techniques or positions, it's easy to pick up their blitzes because you can see it coming. New England, they present so many problems and so many people, you just learn how to pick up protection. So it's actually good to play against teams like the Patriots and Baltimore, who got complex defenses.
Yeah, I always thank God I didn't have to learn too much about the fronts and what that part of the protection meant to the routes. I had to know obviously everything basically outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, when they were coming down and they're shifting,
Right.
what a nickel will is
Yeah.
doing here, what your Sam Mike will do in the middle, and how that leaves the backside open on certain routes and things
Yep.
like that. But
Yep.
like as far as how New England, I remember preparing for New England. I think people don't realize how hard that is when they shift different personnel in different positions, because it almost makes you think like, are they wrong? Well, then
Right.
I'm going to take advantage of the situation, or are they doing this on purpose?
Yeah.
And that's from me, someone who's going to catch the ball. I can only imagine when it's from your perspective, like, why the hell is he over here?
Right.
Like,
Right.
like he's up, get out of here. Like, well, I need to.
Like, why y'all being so sneaky over there? Why is he down? Why is he right here? Hey, I move my back. Hey, we go from a 5-man protection to a 6-man protection. I be 5 wides and I call my back in, change the protection. Like, I mean, that's the cool part about football. You know who taught me that? How to really break down protections? Doug Peterson when I was in Philly. So I got to give Doug a lot of credit for helping me learn to identify on the defense.
Hey, Doug's got some odds to take over the Jacksonville job. Plus
Doug getting back
plus
in
900.
Doug coming back. Yeah, he coming back. He's too smart of a coach to not be in football. He's just taking.
The Betting Academy wants to talk about NFL the futures, individual awards for the futures.
Let's do it.
I think the awards are starting to get a little more clear on who can win, who even has a chance.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is what? Plus 120. Tom Brady plus 180. Who do you like out of those two, and do you see it? Last time we were talking about it's Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady's to lose. Then Jonathan Taylor, your fantasy sleeper of the year, comes around. He's plus 800. I still think he's got a chance. I think people would like to give it to someone that's not a quarterback personally, but I'm not a quarterback. I'm curious. Do you think it's Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady coming down the last 3 weeks, or do you think someone else can come in and steal this?
I think it's Aaron Rodgers to lose right now. He's just been so consistent. Other than that game early in the year, first game of the season against New Orleans, well, he's been typical Aaron Rodgers. And just when you think he's out of the game, he finds some way to make magic happen. Just understanding of the game is just on another level. Look like he's having fun, and that's half the battle. You know, when you're having fun with the guys and the locker room is vibrant and everybody's on the same page and working hard towards that one goal. Football is easy. It's easy to practice. It's easy to watch film. It's easy to break it down, and it's easy to go execute on any day of the week. So I think it's Aaron Rodgers MVP to lose right now. I got him as the front runner.
Do you think the league MVP voters, and this is a tough question to ask a quarterback, give too much credit to the quarterback, and that there should be some other guys in consideration for this MVP, or having played the position, when a team is winning like that, Aaron Rodgers is the best player on the team. He is the best player in the league. He's a guy that obviously deserves the MVP. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the fact that it's mostly quarterback bias, because it's a lot of guys that can host that trophy. More so than the quarter. And I can understand why it's the quarterback too, because one, we got the ball in our hands and all the stuff I was just talking about the last 15 minutes on this show. Only a handful of guys can execute those type of things and still be efficient and still win games. So I can see why the quarterback will always be, at the front of the list. But guys like Jonathan Taylor, and I could think of seasons like Randy Moss, who had epic seasons, who could have easily won the MVP. Barry Sanders when he rushed for $2,000. CJ2K when he ran for 2,000. Adrian Peterson had some amazing seasons. Some good defensive players. Ray Lewis could have won it one year. I think he probably did. I know it's circumstantial, but I would like to see that change at some point. But it's going to be difficult. I like the rules where it's stand now, but everything's subject to change.
CJ2K is still one of my favorite nicknames out
He
there.
was dope. He
Like
was
just
real
throwing
good.
this,
Yeah,
just when you say that brings me back to like because we had to play them twice a week, or
yeah.
not twice a week, twice a
Yeah.
year. He was a headache, and I just remember him breaking off an 80-yard run every game. I was like,
CJ
"Good
2K.
lord, someone
That's why that
tackle
man,
this
that
guy!"
man was named CJ 2K. You know what that means? You coming to gain some ground.
But we do have two more awards to give out. Offensive. I'm going to start with Offensive Player of the Year because you know what? A guy who I saw come in the league, who I was excited to watch come in the league out of Eastern Washington, drafted out here to the LA Rams. I've been following him for a while. Cooper Kupp. Um, I think there is not a player that Sean McVay understands how to use more than Cooper Kupp.
Mm.
I don't know. I think they played the same position. Cooper Kupp is fast, but he's not Blaze. He's not Michael Vick. Michael Vick fast. He is deceptive, but I just think he's a great ball player and receiver,
Yeah.
and he is able to take advantage of what McVay, the positions he puts him in. Because even when you saw him break down his answer on why he cut in versus cut out on an option route, for him to see the offense like a quarterback is really a threat for that whole team. He's tied with Jonathan Taylor, minus 105 to win the Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I don't know how if you give Aaron Rodgers MVP, do you kick out Tom Brady and not give him Offensive Player of the Year? Can you only be up for one? Like, would you rather be one? I don't know. Tom Brady doesn't care about awards, but
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Tom got something else in his mind. We already know what he gunning for. I would say Cooper Kupp or Jonathan Taylor, man. Those guys are having amazing seasons right now, and they deserve to be recognized for the work that they putting in. Cooper Kupp obviously getting better and better each and every year, each and every week, and Jonathan Taylor is, I mean, one of the more versatile backs the game has ever seen, and true game breaker. Both of those guys. I would like to see one of them touch that offensive uh, MVP trophy, so to
Yeah, I
speak.
like that. Defensive Player of the Year.
Locked
Definitely a guy that we talked about, Michael Parsons, plus 325. But T.J. Watt is the top of the leaderboard right now at plus 200.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, and Nick Bosa, basically all pass rushers are on this list, which isn't no surprise because the league's either about throwing the ball or taking away the pass. But I've been paying more attention to Micah Parsons. Maybe it's because he's on Dallas and T.J. Watt. I think we both got our money on Micah Parsons. No.
Absolutely. And you know the coolest part about Michael Parsons? He wasn't number 11. You know, I relate Penn State. My colleague at Fox, LeVar Arrington. You know, I think about LeVar. He wore number 11. He was a game record, game breaker on defense, so to speak. And that's Michael Parsons, man. He's everywhere. He went number 11. He's strong. He's a force in the middle. You can move him around. He's diverse. I mean, he can cover. He can rush the passer. And that's what the game needs right now. We need a guy that look like Ray Lewis or Bobby Wagner all over again. A guy just roaming the field and putting in that work. That's Michael Parsons. He putting in that work.
And he is, and for a rookie, he is putting himself, his body, and as well as just overall his positioning, like his awareness of where the play is going, what he's doing, is like a vet. You know what I mean? Where you can see him avoiding certain situations that are probably that are fakes. He does a great job of getting to the point of attack quickly, and also he's just as physical as all hell. So definitely a fun player to watch. I'm gonna put my money on him over T.J. Watt. That's a little betting academy player of the year, defensive player of the year, as well as MVP. But here's the topic I've been waiting to talk to you about, because I'm kind of an analytics dork now. I've changed my life, all changed around. I became sports Day Dave somehow, and we saw the highs and lows of analytics last week as the Baltimore Ravens go for it on 2. We have a lot more people going for it on 4th down. Let me break this down for you. The Los Angeles Chargers, 4th and goal. on the 2-yard line, 3 seconds in the second quarter, right? Statistically, they have a 58% chance of converting and scoring for 7 points. They have a 98% chance if they kick a field goal and go for 3. They go for it.
Yeah.
4th and 2.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, this is where people want to argue about math. Here's my problem. And I'm gonna before I get to the question. When people say 58% chance of converting and scoring 7 points and 98% chance of kicking the field goal, I don't think people take in consideration that you practice all week on your goal line plays. And you either have confidence in them versus this personnel that you're going against or not. First question, is that true or false? Did you always go into a week knowing that you had better goal line plays some weeks more than others?
No, I thought goal line plays suck. You got a crowded box and a bunch of men all ready to stop the run, and then there's really nowhere to throw the ball. Dave, straight up, like I hate it. I hated goal line. I'm just being real.
Analytics out the window. There's nothing I can do about that. Mike Vick just totally blew up the analytics train.
It's not a coach or a player that don't agree with what I just said. Around the National Football League, they can fake it all they want. Nobody likes to be in goal line because you got to fool somebody. You got to really get off the ball, smash mouth football. Look, I'm all about taking the points. If we don't if we on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal, I expect to get in. Okay, we got 3 downs to get in. It's no shame in getting 3 points. It's a lot of teams right now, a lot of coaches is kicking themselves in the ass because they didn't take 3. The Chargers include. I watched the game a couple days ago. Somebody had a chance. They end up losing the game. Might have been the Ravens.
Yep. No. So that's the second one we're gonna get to, and I bring that up because everyone talks about expected value, right? So that's what really you're doing is you're taking 58% chance of scoring and you're multiplying that by 7, and that gets you 4.15 points, or you take 3-point field goal and a 98% chance of winning, so you give you a 2.96, right? Yeah. So of course we're gonna go for 4.15 or 2.96. My issue is it doesn't take into account how confident you actually are as a team against this team in goal line, right? And so like your expected value should be a little higher or lower based on not just how well you've done historically, but how well you even were doing in practice. That is my argument.
Yep.
I use that argument to frame the Baltimore Ravens situation. They could go for the tie and tie Green Bay and go to overtime, or go for 2 and go for the win. And I appreciate anyone that wants to win a game now, but they have their backup quarterback in. And I don't know any situation. You just pointed out it's hard enough to score when you have all your first team in. But when you have your backup quarterback in that situation, to me, you throw expected values out the window. You take the points. I couldn't believe they went for it there.
Yeah, and I know Aaron Rodgers is on the other side, and that goes without saying. But still, like, take your chances. If he's going to beat you with a touchdown, then, all right, we lost again. I understand Baltimore had a lot of guys out. I understand why John went for it on 2. I totally get it. I understand why he did it a couple weeks ago against Pittsburgh. I totally do. But when you start to look at the opportunities or what could happen, a fumble, a strip sack, you just never know. Give your team a chance. But I do like the aggression too, man. So this one right here, man, leave me scratching my head, scratching my hat. I just can't get it. I don't know, man. I'm torn.
I thought maybe they were going for it. I watched this play live, right? I was like clicking through, and I was like, oh, shoot, they're about to try to win it here. I think it was right before my daughter was making some we were doing cookies, Christmas cookies, you know. Just like you always do on when you're supposed to be watching football with the boys. But the call that they went for, I was like, okay, maybe they got a play that they've been working all week, or a special play, just like you mentioned, where they know that they can get a mismatch or they can trick someone into a better situation. But I'm with you. Sometimes I think people over-index for analytics and expected value and expected points instead of just playing football and feeling what they have going on the sideline. And that might have been why John did it, right? It might not have been, hey, coach, here's the expected value in the headset. It's like, hey, coach, I think we got a better chance of winning this thing now instead of letting it draw out. Let's go for it now.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Let's go get it. I like it. And you know what he probably walked in the locker room and said? If I got to do it again, boys, I do it again. So stay ready. Stay ready.
Baltimore at Cincinnati. We're not going to get off this Baltimore train. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is actually favored going into this game. Another total 45.5. The AFC North Division is wide open. You got the Bengals with your clubhouse, the leader in the clubhouse at plus 135. Baltimore right behind him at plus 150. I don't think any of us saw the Browns and the Steelers falling down as far as they have in the past, but the Bengals quietly putting together some wins, getting in and out of these games with some W's. They don't have any headliners. They obviously got Burrow and Chase out there doing an amazing job. Not a lot of guys on defense that are making names for themselves yet, but they are winning games, and that's all that matters. I think a tip of the cap to the Bengals, AFC North Division. Curious, you played against these teams. You played in this division. Can the Bengals pull it off, or is the last 3 weeks in this division the hardest 3 weeks of the whole season?
It's going to be a tough stretch. I don't know if the Bengals can pull this one off. You're going to get Lamar Jackson back. You're going to get a team that's that's spaded by injuries, but obviously gonna get some guys back and gonna be desperate to win. And Cincinnati coming off a win. I do think they were supposed to beat the 49ers a couple weeks ago. They let that one get away, so it's gonna be a lot of pressure on them to perform. So we'll see what happens. But Baltimore will be back and at 100%, most likely, if not 90% going into this weekend.
You got Cleveland at Green Bay. Cleveland is a 7-point dogs to Green Bay. Green Bay's playing for the NFC, the odds to be the 1 seed. I never got to play for anything like that. Tell me, is that enough motivation to go hard every week? Or do some of these teams, I know when they make the playoffs or they haven't, they shut it down. Yeah. Do you talk about being a number 1 seed in a locker room? Yeah,
because it's home field advantage throughout. You get that break. And then you just got to host 2 games. One, what is the divisional round, and then you got the NFC. Then you got the NFC Championship game for them. So you want to get that number 1 seed, and it's worth it because that break that you're gonna get, you get to watch your opponent, get to prepare for them, and you also get to get some guys healthy and get back to 100% and get some rest. And you know how important that is. That's paramount.
I was always playing to try to get into the dance, just trying to knock on the door, someone to open the door for us. I never had a guaranteed seat and a date. I was
South represent.
That feels like a different scenario. I was never in that one, but the bubble team odds, right? This is where it's gonna get real fun. There are a lot of teams on the outside looking in. In the AFC, you got the Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Dolphins, and Browns. All right there. As much as we give the Browns a bunch of grief, they're 7-7. The Ravens are 8-6. There's a couple, like we talked about, AFC North games going on this week. I'm curious, of these bubble teams, Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Dolphins, Browns, all in the 8-6, 7-7 range. Who do you like in that little bubble right there in the AFC?
Browns. God, I can't even say the Ravens because they so hurt and banged up. And they got to get guys back. I say right now Pittsburgh. Coming up out of there. I do think they're going to pull it together. Everybody got a shot. All these teams, like, you talk about parity earlier. They all kind of look the same. They all on the same parallel. So, yeah, I say Pittsburgh. I go with my former squad right now to put it all together. Get Najee Harris on.
I like Pittsburgh. I also like the Dolphins sneaking in there, right? People are forgetting about the AFC East. They're 7-7. They've strung together a couple wins. They might be able to sneak in there at a 10-7 or something like that. I like them. NFC, also a bunch of 7-7 teams. A lot of them coming from your good old NFC East. Eagles, Saints, Washington, and Atlanta.
NFC East, I like the Eagles. I like the way what they put together last night. I mean, obviously, the Cowboys are locked, so we talking wild card, correct? Yeah. So I like the Eagles. obviously Atlanta got to prove to me more over the next couple of weeks that they are deserving of that position. So yeah, I like the Eagles, man. I like the way they pulling it together, and Jalen Hurts, he's stepping his game up.
I'll tell you why I like the Eagles is because I don't like the Saints, Washington, or Atlanta.
Makes sense.
I don't know how those teams.
Get off my birds, man. Get off my birds.
I don't know how those teams even have a chance. I don't know how. Atlanta has hung around though, and I give them a lot of credit for that. But they got Lions, Bills, and Saints, so if they got a chance, right? They can beat the Lions. Obviously, Bills will be a tough one at Buffalo, and then they'll play the Saints. Everyone has a division game, last game of the season. It'll be interesting. There'll definitely be a lot of spots up for grabs come the last week of the season, which is exactly what the NFL wants. Speaking of spots up for grabs, Mike. It was a pleasure playing fantasy football with you. Both of us lost.
We out.
You got eliminated by Chelsea Gray, and I got eliminated by KG. My team scored, I think, 60 points. I didn't have a single player above that got 10 points. Yeah. Not my quarterback, not Amari Cooper, not Alvin Kamara, not Mike Williams. My whole team just completely shit the bed. What is your excuse? What happened to your fantasy squad?
I mean, for some reason in Denver, every week I'm on Jerry Jeudy watch for my squad, and we can't get the ball to Jerry Jeudy. And I'm like, I picked him for a reason. Explosive, good route runner, sure hands, and my man just hasn't been productive, not only for me, but for the Denver Broncos, man. He was drafted too high to not be put in the spotlight. So I'm trying to get some work in with Jerry Jeudy over the next couple months, man. You gotta get
we're gonna have to figure that out. But the final four: Paul Tate, Leabu, Commissioner versus KG, and Paul Pierce versus Chelsea. I just don't want to see KG versus Paul Pierce. I don't want to see two rookies win, which is probably what's gonna happen.
That's not gonna be good.
But it would be hilarious to see those two battling it.
Not a good look.
Our new favorite segment, our off-hours bourbon. You and I had a lovely taste testing.
Oh, man.
The bourbon for off hours, for when work is over and you got something that you really want to talk about, when you want to discuss and when you want to break it down. And the way we honor off hours here on the Gaming Society as our official sponsors, we ask each other a question that we don't typically get to ask each other. This is a great question right here. Because as a Leo, someone born in late July, I believe in this type of activity. Michael Vick, what is your favorite self-care activity? What do you do to really relax, take care of yourself? Or do you have a facial cream? Are you a bath guy? What is your self-care activity?
I love brushing my teeth. I brush my teeth 4 times a day. Like, I brush my teeth and floss and always keep Listerine on deck, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's just a thing. It's a thing. I like to brush
4
my teeth.
times a day?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. Like, it just feel good. I make my mouth, I don't know, it's just one of those pet peeves of mine that I just gotta brush my teeth.
But you only have 3 square meals.
Yeah, I know, but I eat a lot of junk food. I eat a lot of candy, more than I want to talk about right now. So and I don't want any kid who role model is Mike Vick to hear that I eat candy in my spare time and I brush my teeth 4 times a day to combat it.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's hilarious. Brush your teeth. Well, I'll take a bath. If I really want to shut it down, I want to do some self-care. I'll take a nice long bath, lay in a bath for a long time. I don't know if it's because of those days in the cold tub and having to get back in the hot tub to cool back down or heat back up, but I'm a bath guy. So off hours, the bourbon for the off hours. I've really enjoyed it. I drink it. I drink it whenever. I will be pounding this in the holiday. Our producer Mike Davis, don't worry, you won't have to deliver this anymore because I'm going to go through about 2 of these bottles. We'll have plenty of empty bottles around here to deal with this, but. I want to thank you, Mike Vick. But before I let you go, tell me what you thought about Frank Gore and Darren Williams.
Thought it was a good fight, very competitive. Both of those guys gave it everything that they had. And I think when it comes to boxing, for everybody who's watching or watched that fight, if you're not a professional boxer, just understand the importance of conditioning and how guys who stepped in the ring, even who was it, Jake Paul. Jake knocking guys out, but man, that conditioning in there is a different level of conditioning. So I noticed, and I'm a big time boxing fan, I just noticed how guys get winded really quick. And that's the first thing to go. And then their hands drop, and that's why Jake Paul knocked out Woodley. He got tired, hands dropped. He took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. So I think Darren Williams and Frank Gore, they did a great job. Good, very competitive, and good showmanship. And hats off to those guys, man.
I do like that. You know what? They did come out and fight. They were swinging at each other. It was fun. It was hyped up. I do appreciate it. Obviously, Frank, you expected him to push Darren around like that and get tossed out of the ring. But you're right. As soon as that's what I was worried about. A basketball player's got a little more long-windedness in him than a running back who's used to going hard for 6 seconds and then shutting it down, walking back to the huddle.
And then my homie Brandon Marshall challenged the basketball players, football versus basketball in the ring. Now, guys, somebody gonna have to step up.
I'll beat up what's his name from the Dallas Mavericks.
Those guys, you're giving away a lot of reach to those guys.
What's the little white dude that played for the Dallas Mavericks?
I can't remember his name. I know you talking. He didn't last long.
What was his name?
He was real small. Yeah, that might be your match.
What was his name? Oh.
I know you talking about. He was like number 13 or something.
Yeah, what was his name?
Yeah.
JJ Barea.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Dave Anderson versus JJ Barea, and we'll have it'd be a showstopper. Mike Vick versus Allen Iverson. That would be that.
I would never put my hands on my guy. That's a big bro. Yeah, he probably would.
That would be a pay-per-view event for the ages.
The boxing ring is a totally different level. I'm staying away from that.
I hear you. Well, Mike Vick, thank you again, man. Gaming Society Football Show. That's Mike Vick. I'm Dave Anderson. You guys have a good one. Make sure to sign up and subscribe at thegamingsociety.com and hit that follow button at The Gaming Society on all social platforms.